It was one-way traffic for South Africa up until the 10th, 11th over, until the West Indies team bus finally arrived at the stadium. And guess who was driving? Jason Holder and Romario Shepherd. They finally managed to reach 176 in their 20 overs. Romario Shepherd getting 52 of 37. Jason Holder 49 of 31. Lungi Ngidi once again, he's picked up 3 wickets, given away just 30 in his 4. And Rabada picking up 2. Corbin Bosch picking up 2. We're back at Cricbuzz Live. I've got Michael and Ajinkya with me in the house. Michael, first to you. It felt like it was a good pitch, that first over, 17 runs, and we felt like, wow, this is going to be a high-scoring match. And then West Indies just crumbled, tumbled, lost a whole lot of wickets, but then they found themselves back towards the end.
Yeah, I mean, it is a good pitch, and you would say that's probably under par, but the runs on the board, it's a bit of deja vu from last night with the New Zealand side that were 80-odd for 6 and managed to get over 160. This time, the West Indies 7 down, it's a brilliant partnership. That's why the West Indies are such a good side, because they've got power all down the back, and it only takes one partnership, and they've got themselves to a competitive total. South Africa, for me, are the best fielding team in the tournament until today, and they've all fielded like me. That was my standard of fielding. I've never seen a South African side fumble the ball, drop the ball. Was it 5 catches that went down?
5 catches.
That is unheard of for a South African unit. They don't have to win today. And you're kind of looking at that and thinking, are they not 100% focused? Are they not kind of 100% switched on? We'll know exactly that when they get the bat in hand, because that kind of total on this kind of pitch on the ground, that it's now the 5th time that they've played at this venue, they should chase down that total.
Yeah.
But if they're not switched on like they were in the field, that total will become quite a big one, because it just shows that in cricket, if you don't arrive and be ultimately switched on, and that desperation that you require inside yourself, you can have fielding performance like we've just seen.
Well, Michael, as Indian fans, that statement you made that they don't really need to win today will hurt, because we know that Indian fans need South Africa to win. But Ajinkya, we were in the comm box. They were 82 for 6 at the comm box, and we said that this is just not the way West Indies has played all through this World Cup. And then finally, they arrived with Jason Holder and Romario Shepherd.
I think we saw two 10-over games. I thought first 10 overs were completely different, 7 wickets down. And then what they did after that was amazing. That partnership between Holder and Shepherd was too good. So that's what we were talking about. West Indies so far in this tournament played so well, consistently. First 10 overs looked really bad from them. As I said, South Africa bowling was, pretty okay. They bowled in right areas. There was nothing extraordinary as a bowling unit. Very good wicket to bat on. West Indies batting first 10 overs was horrible. But after that, what they achieved was a great comeback. I feel this is a competitive total. You spoke about South Africa won 4 games in Ahmedabad. Indian fans now probably will look at this game very closely. 175, 176 to win. You never know what can happen.
Well, Michael, it is a record-breaking 8th wicket partnership, because 89 runs they've put on. From being 82 for 6, they've gone on to make 176. Incredible from the both of them.
Yeah, brilliant. I mean, Shepherd is a sought-after T20 player around the world these days, but Jason Holder is just, he's the veteran. Played over 300 times now for the West Indies, which is remarkable. He joins a great list of West Indian greats, and he is a West Indian great for what he's delivered, but he seems to get better with the bat. Yes. Particularly in this format, in the last few, he just seems to have got better and better. And I think it's a real lesson to a lot of these countries around the world that some of these players that get beyond 35, 34, 35, you kind of park them into a field and don't look at them again. But the amount of experience that players like Jason Holder have kind of gathered over the years makes him have that ability. He's still fit. He's still obviously got the. He plays a load of golf.
Yes.
He's very much like the England players. He plays more golf than the England players, and he's got that kind of lovely swing of the willow. And the mindset to play under the pressure. He knew his team were out of it, and then suddenly they just kind of knocked it around. And when you've got 6 hitting ability like the West Indies have, in particular those 2 there at the middle, at the back end, you can always catch up. You get 3 or 4 6s in the space of 2 overs, and that rate goes up exactly the same as what happened last night with Santner. He hits 2 6s, suddenly the score goes flying up, and the opposition are under pressure, and that's what happened with that partnership.
Michael made this point of beyond 35 and you see a different kind. Ajinkya, you've been there in your innings, in your career as well. It almost feels like there's maturity. You know how to handle pressure better, and you think that's what happened with Jason Holder today.
Yeah, absolutely. I feel age is just a number. I mean, the experience what you get while playing cricket for so many years is really important. Once you cross 34, 35, you know your body really well. After that, I think managing your body, I thought he managed his body really well. He knows his game really well. One thing about Jason Holder, I feel and I saw his work ethics on the field. Hardworking throughout, always look to improve as a cricketer. Very good human being. Likes to contribute in the team, likes to help youngsters as well. So I think all these small things matters a lot. Knowing your game personally for playing so many years, but I think having these small things in cricket matters a lot. Work ethics and attitude, I feel what Jason Holder has is amazing.
He also, I mean, again, all the dressing room chats are all filmed these days, and they have, I think most teams now have awards at the end of every game. Yes. And just go on the West Indies Instagram page, because they got some awards in the last game that they played, and Jason does a speech and it's funny.
Yes.
He's clearly a real character within the dressing room. He's been a great captain for the West Indies, a great leader. And I always look at teams that have got captains that have been before but don't want to be the captain anymore. They're brilliant to have in the side because they're not kind of trying to outdo the skipper. They're just there to give all the information, manage certain players within the group. That's what Jason will be doing. He'll just be occupying 2 or 3. I know that you watch when Shamar Joseph bowls.
Yes.
Jason Holder will be at mid-off. Shea Hope behind the sticks. Jason will be right next to Shamar at mid-off, just in his ear, telling him potentially which balls to go. And when you've got that amount of experience in your team, it's fantastic to have.
Well, their experience always helps so much, and today we saw that at number 9, Romario Shepherd comes in. Number 9 is when he comes in and gets in a 50 and gets the West Indies to 176. Again there, Michael, 4 sixes, 3 fours. But to come in at number 9 for West Indies, it just talks about the depth in batting and what he brings to the side.
Yeah, but you just look at that. If you get those numbers up again, so he's hit 7 boundaries.
Striking at 140.
Yeah, so of the 37 balls that he faced, 30 balls weren't boundaries. So he's been able to just rotate. He's been able to stay calm when he's had dot balls bowled against him. But it's the boundaries that catch you up, and that's why he's got that 52 not out. And when you've got that amount of power...
Yeah.
I think when you've got that amount of power, it encourages you just to bat for a few balls because you can always catch up. When you know that you can play all right, get used to the conditions, get used to the kind of pace off the pitch, have a look at the dimensions of the ground, then suddenly you've worked it out. And it only takes 4 or 5 balls for these players, and then they can go.
Yes.
The big thing in this game, you look at the West Indies bowling attack, and they've got so much spin. Maharaj had no effect.
Yeah.
There wasn't a great deal of spin there. So that would encourage me that South Africa would be confident about chasing this down.
But Ajinkya, we saw that when West Indies came out to bat, the openers gave them a fiery start. We felt, all right, is this going to be a 200 plus score? Because we saw Brandon King get 21 of 11 and the captain Shai Hope get 16 of 6. And once they started losing those wickets, they just wouldn't stop. It just kept tumbling one after the other up until Jason Holder and Shepherd came.
I think that wicket looked really good from ball number 1. If you saw 17 runs, but after that first wicket, I thought West Indies they just wanted to play shots. We saw Hetmeyer playing one shot, got dropped.
Yes.
Again tried another one and then got out. So I think West Indies batter, they probably came up with the plan that let's go aggressively in first 6 overs because they knew they have the batting lineup till number 9. Shepherd comes at number 9. So that was the reason I thought they felt they went really hard. But again, it was slightly reckless batting.
Yes.
I felt in the power play, and till first 10 overs it was reckless because up till now West Indies batted slightly smartly. You saw first game of the tournament for West Indies, the power play was 36, and then we spoke about how they actually should bat in the power play. I thought today was slightly reckless. They came up with the plan, but I thought the execution in first 6 and first 10 overs was not up to the mark. We spoke about a rotation of strike dot balls. Today actually was not ideal, but the situation was such 7 wickets down. No, he actually few dot balls was much needed for West Indies because both of them, Holder and Shepherd, can hit big sixes. That actually worked in their favor, basically taking out some time and then looking to play big shots.
But sometimes when you get on a ground and on a pitch that you're expected to get over 200, you try and get there too quickly. You look back to when they got over 250 against Zimbabwe. it came primarily down the back end.
Yes.
Yeah.
You know, so they just stayed in, they just played sensibly, and all of a sudden hit 1 or 2 sixes and away they went. But it was the first 5 overs that you watched against Zimbabwe. They're quite circumspect, and then they caught up in the last 15. And sometimes when you get on a pitch like in Ahmedabad, when you're thinking, oh, we need 220, you can play too many shots too soon, then you lose wickets, and it's very, very difficult to get to that 220. Generally, when you see T20 teams get to be on 200, 220, it's because they've had a powerful back 8.
Yes.
Yeah, they've hit 120 in the back 8.
Yeah.
That's generally what happens. Very rarely do you see a team get to 150 in 12 and then slow down the back end. It usually comes down the back end, and particularly the West Indies side. They've been probably the best of all the teams at really hurting the opposition with wickets in hand, with power to come in those last 8 overs.
You know, Ajinkya, you were talking about a plan that West Indies had, but clearly South Africa had a plan today. The other day against India, we kept seeing those slower ones. Today, we saw them get almost 6 wickets with that back of a length delivery. We see the pitch map here. The amount of wickets they've gotten, this is in the power play. So clearly, they had a plan which they executed very well.
I thought they read the wicket really well. Having played on this ground, that really helps. The game against India was on a black soil. The length on black soil is completely different. Red soil, as I said, bounce and the pace of the wicket is so good. So I thought they adjusted the length slightly, went back of length, that good length area, and they were getting that bounce. Even Jansen, Ngidi and Rabada hitting those hard lengths. And that's their strength, South Africa's
and also
strength.
getting it to move. Jansen was getting the ball to move.
Yeah, there's a bit of seam movement as well. So I think that's their strength as South African bowlers. For playing in South Africa, basically hitting those hard lengths consistently, that helps them a lot. So I thought red soil, that wicket, and I thought they kept it simple. Not much of slower balls today. We saw many slower balls against India, but today it was just pitching it right up there, hitting the lengths hard, and then let the ball do the talking.
Well, we saw Ngidi come towards the 18-20th over and bowl those slow balls then, but not so much up in the front. We'll have a look at South African bowling card here, because Lungi Ngidi picking up 3 wickets, Corbin Bosch got 2, and Kagiso Rabada got 2 as well. So all the wickets there, Michael, have gone to the Pacers.
Yeah, all the paces and the best economy. I mean, Jansen's obviously got decent pace, but he's had an off afternoon in Ahmedabad. But you look at Rabada, 2 for 22. Ngidi once again 3 for 30, and obviously Bosch 2 for 31. So their economy is 5.5, 7.5, 7.75. So I think if you get it right, clearly it's a pitch that you can bowl on. But some of those shots were a little bit iffy from the West Indian point of view. But if it was a must-win game for South Africa, I would say that it was 9 out of 10 that they chased this total.
Yeah.
Because it's not a must-win game, and because I saw them in the field, I always look at fielding as a kind of a statue of what the team mentality is. And to see a South African side not quite on it in the field, I just wonder whether they're going to be on it with the bat, because they're still going to have to be, because you've still got to bat well to chase this number. But I'll reserve my judgment until I see them bat, because at the minute that's a fielding side that I've seen from South Africa that I've not seen for a long time.
It's a lovely point, actually. If you judge a team by its fielding, also a character by the fielding. And as a batsman, you always get the confidence when you field well. When you take a brilliant catch or run out, that confidence actually stays on. And I mean, it can happen to anyone. Best of the best fielders, best of the best teams, you can drop catches, but that attitude actually carries forward once in your batting. So I think it's interesting to see how South Africa bat.
Andy Flower, he said many, many years ago when he was England coach, I'd actually love him to be England coach again in the future. He always used to say fielding's an attitude.
Yes.
It's purely attitude fielding, because everyone can move. If you're playing for your country, all right, there's some fielders better than others, but generally most people that are playing for the country should be able to move and catch, and it's generally attitude. And if you can take the attitude out onto the field and better the opposition's attitude in the field, it goes a long way to winning the game of cricket. Whatever the game, whatever the format, Test, 50 over T20, a lot of the time against the better sides, it's who fields the best.
Well, Markram's come out with the correct attitude, because first ball he's hit it for a 4. So he's not wanting to carry the fielding attitude to the batting. So quickly, let's have, firstly, congratulations, Michael.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Well done.
There's the trophy.
Cheers to that.
Thank you very much.
Well done on that. Do you want to be winners go first?
61.
All right, Ajinkya, for you.
57.
61, 57, I'm going to go with 54 and stay close by. All right, we'll wait and watch and see what happens. Michael has said that South Africa, doesn't really need to win this game, But all Indian fans are watching closely. South Africa has to win this game for all Indian fans. We'll see what happens. Thank you, Ajinkya. Thank you, Michael. We'll be back at the 10-hour point with a Cricbuzz Combox, so do join us there.